Hello, friends. It's Carrie from Stretch Chi. How are you? Good morning. I'm just going to give this. Sometimes it takes a second for the internet to catch up to the fact that I'm streaming. There, it's getting better. It's getting better. It's like I have the. It looks like you're driving, and it's like, and it just gets better and better. But apparently, it needs information. Hi, guys. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to have stretching class live this morning. I'm Carrie from Stretch Chi, if you guys don't know. We're going to do this today. Revolve to wide leg bend. I'm not even going to try to say the Sanskrit. I can't even say Sanskrit. It's this big, long word. Look at how big and long that word is. Can you even see it? It's crazy. But it's a twist and a nice, good stretch for our medial hamstrings. So we're going to work through that today, and hopefully all will be well. I'm hoping this internet speed kicks up. It really should. I upgraded my internet. I pulled a couple of other cards, and today we got breakthrough, which is exciting. Isolation, which looks awful, but actually it's kind of cool when you think about how we can apply that to our muscles and how to isolate our muscles. We got possibilities, which is kind of fun, and also the dream. So maybe you look at this pose today and you're like, Carrie, that's a dream. There's no way that's happening, but who knows? We might have a breakthrough, right? And all it might take is isolating a few muscles and recognizing that there's possibilities so that you can reach the dream of Parivrita, Parsarita, Padottanasana. I did it. I don't know if that's right. Anyway, let's get to it. If you guys are watching, feel free to say hi. Make sure that you let me know who's here in the chat. And also give me a thumbs up, comment, like. Make sure that you do this live, because that means that people actually get to see my videos, right? The people who may not know that there's a live video, it'll put it up in their home screen. If you like it, leave a comment. People just like you. And I want more people just like you, because you're awesome. One more thing real quick before we get started. If you have, let me show you these other ways that you can help me out if you feel like helping me out. Subscribing is the #1 top dog best thing that you can do to help this channel grow. So click that subscribe button. If you have the capacity to donate to this channel and help support me, I'm not making money off of YouTube at this time. So feel free to support if you can. And then of course, tell your friends, like, and comment. Those are the best things you can do. All right, let's start. So let me get my mat in the view, grabbing my water, and let's get to it. Now, when I was pulling these cards earlier this morning, I tried doing this, 2 cards came out, and I tried doing this pose, and I noticed that I was really locked up through my T-spine, my thoracic spine. That's up here, like in your mid-back up top. And as I was doing this stretch, I was really getting all locked up through my rib cage. So that's why I picked this, because I need it real bad. So feel free to comment as much as you want, but we're really going to problem solve in real time to see if we can figure out how to get this upper body unlocked, and also a little bit of deeper stretch in our inner thighs with this forward fold. Okay, so let's go ahead and just try out this stretch. Let's see what happens. Pay attention to exactly what you're feeling, because what you're feeling tells you how to progress through class, right? You want to pay attention to, like, if this stretch feels scary to you, if it feels painful, if it feels really good, if it feels uncomfortable. You want to kind of pay attention to where you feel locked up, okay? Now, the other thing to remember about Ki-Hara resistant stretching is that if anything hurts, you stop right away, okay? Don't do anything that doesn't feel good. So in this stretch, we're in a wide leg forward fold. We're going to come down into the stretch, bring one arm to the ground if you can, and then reach the other arm up and look over your shoulder. There's a twist in this. There's also pretty good inner thigh, inner hamstring stretch. So you kind of just want to pay attention and see how that works. But you know what I'm noticing here is that from this position, I can't stand up all the way. Let me show you this from the side. This is really fascinating to me. When I'm here with my legs wide, I can't get my hips forward. I'm locked up somewhere. Something's keeping me from being able to stand up all the way. Now, if I bring my feet in a little closer, I can a little bit, but I also notice some tightness through my glutes and the outside hamstrings. So that's really interesting for me. What about you? When you duck your feet out, when you externally rotate, can you stand up straight? Can you do a posterior tilt with your pelvis? That means, can you turn your tailbone under and take the top of your pelvis back, kind of like you're tipping a bowl backwards? Can you do that with your legs externally rotating? How much external rotation can you go and still keep your back up without pain? Right? Maybe it's just this much, which to some people, you can't see my hand, which to some people seems like a big amount of external, or for some people it wouldn't seem like external rotation at all to have your feet straight in front of you, like this. But if your legs are naturally turned in like this, or if you're rotated from your lower legs, then this might actually be a lot of external rotation for your upper hips, for your upper thighs. Can you find that external rotation and still have your hips square so that you're not folding over? So find where you can have that and then start to challenge how far apart you can go. I feel like a penguin. And then from here, give yourself some squeeze in your inner thighs, trying to pull your heels together and see how that feels. And then bend at your hips to come forward. How does that feel? How far can you go without pain? How far can you go and still feel okay? I'll tell you guys, this is really fascinating. I've been having some rib pain from a bad cough that I had in the fall. And it hasn't seemed to go away, and it's all in my my left rib cage over here, and it hurts. It hurts every day. And this is really aggravating it. Isn't that fascinating? So maybe today's the breakthrough. Yes, I would love it if today was the breakthrough. You guys could see me readjust my rib cage all in place. It'd be awesome. All right, well, let's get started on our resistance stretching. Remember, there are 3 rules for Ki-Hara. The first rule is that you resist all the time. You also need to move all the time. And then the last rule is that if anything hurts, find a smaller range of motion or just skip the stretch completely. It's okay to skip a stretch. You don't have to do every stretch every day, okay? This is your body, and it tells you what you need. Also, very important, the stretches you need are the ones that feel good. The stretches that you don't need are the ones that feel bad. So keep that in mind. It's a little bit of a paradigm shift. Just flip that thought in your head that the stretches that feel good will actually help you the most. The stretches that feel bad are creating more problems. So don't do anything that doesn't feel good. And if you have any questions or anything, feel free to throw them in the chat. Or if you feel like you might need a little bit of extra care, feel free to reach out to me through my website. There's a form, you can fill that out. We can do a private session, okay? Just a one-on-one, like through Zoom. That's how we do it. All right, let's get started. We're gonna work on our medial hamstring to start out. So what I want you to do is lay on your back, bring your right leg up, and grab your toe of your right foot with your hand. So I'm just holding onto my big toe. And then you're gonna kick your heel down towards your body, and then pull up for stretch. So you kick down for strength, engaging the hamstring and your medial hamstring right here. And you pull up for your stretch. You just go back and forth, down for strength and up for stretch. And see if you can find that stretch in the inner part of your hamstring. Now this one has that same external rotation that we were talking about before. So you could try letting your knee open up a little bit more and see if you can get a little wider in this stretch. See if you can find it in a different place. And when you do that, what happens? Do you get a little cramp somewhere else? Do you get some pinch in your hip? Find the place that feels the best to you and the place that feels the most productive, where you feel the deepest stretch here in your inner hamstring. If you feel anything other than that, just skip it, because we're going to review this stretch multiple times through class. It's a huge component of our wide leg forward fold. So we're going to revisit it a lot. You're going to be very flexible through this muscle by the time we finish class, so don't you even worry. If you don't have it now, it's not a problem. Now when you're ready to switch sides, go ahead and flip. I like to hold my hand, or hold my head with my right hand, and then take my left hand and grab my big toe of my left foot. You're going to kick down for strength and pull up for stretch. You want to make sure you're resisting the whole time. So as you kick down, your muscle is engaged. As you pull up, you keep the muscle engaged and come into this stretch. Down for strength and up for stretch. And you just go back and forth. You should feel the stretch on the inner part of your hamstring. Remember, if you want to isolate these stretches, then you have to really notice where you feel the stretch and see if you can keep it in that one spot. This should be on the inner part of your hamstring. It hopefully feels pretty good. Should be a pretty nice stretch right through the inner thigh. If you don't feel that, it's okay. Like I said before, just skip the stretch. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. So down for strength and up for stretch. And just make sure you get that stretch right in that inner hamstring. Isolate the stretch. All right, so now this next stretch we're going to go for is for your quads. It's in the front of your legs. Now these stretches all work together, and so we want to make sure that there's a good balance between the two. For you to fold to get into that stretch for your hamstring, then the quad has to be able to fold too, which means it also needs to be able to stretch. So let's go up against the wall. I want you to grab a towel or some sort of like pillow or cushion, something that you can be on. If your pillow is too cushy, you'll probably fall off of it though. So find something that feels like you can give your knee a little bit of stability. You can even use your mat too. Or if you have carpet on your floors, that's probably fine. You'll drop your right leg against the wall. So your knee's on the wall, your foot will be flat on the wall. If you can't get into this position, turn your toe under like this and maybe bring your knee a little further away. Okay, so you can play around with that. See if you can find a place that feels good to you. Your other leg is going to come up to the front and you'll come up into a lunge. If you need something to hold on to, like a chair or something, go get it right now, okay? So you have something to stabilize you. Now push your back leg into the wall and that's going to propel your body forward. Use your front leg to push you back towards the wall and that's going to give you your stretch in your quad right here. And you just go back and forth. You're always pushing out with both legs. So it's like you're trying to push your body into the splits. Like I'm trying to go here, but the mat's in the way. And because I'm doing that push, it pushes me backwards. And then as I push with my back leg, it pushes me forward, but my front leg is fighting. And you just go back and forth. There are a couple ways you can intensify this if you feel like you want more intensity in this stretch. So if you do, then try to pull your knees together as you come back. So you're like really trying to squeeze in and you'll feel that more intensely. You could also try turning your pelvis into a posterior tilt. So that means that you'll take your pelvis and tilt it back as you come into the stretch. Your tailbone down, the top of your pelvis back. You could also try lifting your arms up towards the ceiling to get a deeper stretch. But all these are up to you. And it's only if you want a deeper stretch. If you want lesser stretch, which some of you might, then come further away from the wall. And that's okay too. All right? It just depends on where you are. Maybe a little smaller range of motion, whatever works, okay? We're aiming for about 10 repetitions, all right? So once you've done your 10, put your hands down and switch sides. So now I'm going to take my left leg and put it up against the wall with my foot flat on the wall, or turned under and a little bit further away from the wall if that's what you need.
Your right leg will come around to the front, and then you come up into a lunge. Now again, if you feel like you need some stability, grab a chair, grab something to hold on to, okay? You don't want to fall over. Then push both legs in external directions. This one's going that way, my back leg's pushing into the wall. And you just go back and forth. So this pushes me forward, my front leg is going to push me back. And you just go back and forth. Forward for strength, back for stretch. Good, good, good. Now again, we want to really focus on isolating this stretch. So you want to find this feeling in your quads. If you feel anything different, you've gone a little too far, okay? So just take it in a range that feels good so that you can really feel the quad muscle. And put your awareness right on that muscle so that you can really isolate what's happening. A lot of times we resist too hard. Like if you feel this front leg working a lot, it's because you're working too hard. And that's creating a barrier so that you can't isolate that muscle. If you really want to make a breakthrough, then you have to find the amount of resistance that works for you so that you can isolate the one muscle. So that might mean lightening up a little bit with your front leg, slowing down maybe a little bit to see if you can really find the awareness of your quad muscle. Really feel that. If you feel other things, if you feel like you're working really hard, then lighten up a bit. Take it easy on yourself. It's okay. You want to make a breakthrough? You need to isolate these muscles, okay? Now again, if you want to intensify the stretch, you can tuck your tailbone. Find a little posterior tilt. That's way intense. You can try to pull your knees together. That's just an image, right? It's a thought. And as you try to pull those knees together, just putting your awareness there, it'll give you a little bit deeper stretch. Or you can reach your arms up towards the ceiling and see how that feels. Oh, so good. This is everything I need today. Which is why I'm doing 8,000 stretches. Put your hands down, let's get out of this stretch. Good, good, good job, you guys. All right, let's work on our next stretch, which is for our lateral hamstring. Now you can use your towel that you had before to help you with this one. So just it's like a hand towel, you know? It's usually all you need. So I'm gonna lay on my back. I'm gonna wrap the towel around my left foot and hold it in my right hand. And then I want to internally rotate. So remember with the wide angle bend, you're externally rotated. So your toes are pointing out like like duck foot, like Mary Poppins. This stretch, you're going to be internally rotated, so it's a pigeon toe. And then bend your knee, wrap that strap around your foot. Make sure that you stay internally rotated and kick your heel down towards your glutes and then pull up for your stretch. And as you pull up, you're pulling over your right shoulder. There's not really any pull to the right specifically. You're just pulling up with your right arm and your legs on a diagonal. So think about it going up and down, but it's going to go down to the left and up to the right, just because of the way your leg is turned, okay? Up and down for sure. Down for strength and up for stretch. And it's just a back and forth. Now, learn to isolate this muscle, right? This is lateral hamstring. It's the outer hamstring here. For the outside of your hip. It's the outside of the hamstring. It's like, if you look at your leg, like here's my leg, right? Central hamstring is right down the middle. We did medial hamstring here, which is on the inner part. This one's going to be more towards the outside, like out here, okay? So that's what we're aiming for, is that lateral hamstring. When you're ready to switch sides, wrap the strap around your right foot, internally rotate your knee. So your knee is going to turn towards your left elbow. Then kick your heel down. It'll kick down towards the right edge of your hip, and then pull up over your left shoulder. Again, this is an up and down motion. You're pulling up. I'm pulling towards this wall. I'm not pulling towards my camera, but it just happens that it's my left arm, so there'll be a little bit of rotation. There'll be a little diagonal in this one. Down for strength and up for stretch. And then focus on that muscle isolating the lateral hamstring. That means the outside hamstring. If you're feeling other things, try lighter resistance. Sometimes it helps to actually touch the muscle to feel it working. Or it could mean that you need to do some problem solving. And if that's the case, then it would be helpful for you to go to my problem solving playlist. There's one called the sciatica solution. That's this one. So you want to check that out. So if you have sciatic problems, it's because this hamstring isn't stretching properly. And you got some work to do. So see if you can isolate that hamstring. That's how we're going to make the breakthrough. Up for your stretch, down for strength. Your arm fights the whole time. This is resistance stretching. So there's no relaxing in this stretch. You always want to resist, okay? All right, let's come up into a seated position. Fold in the laundry. All I do is fold towels and try to figure out which one is right and left. It's my whole day. All right, so bring your feet together and your elbows to your knees. And you're just sitting like in a butterfly type position. If it feels better to sit against the wall for stability for your back, you can. If it feels better to sit on some books or a block or a pillow, do that. That'll raise your hips up a little bit, make it feel a little better. Just find the position that works the best for you. Also, if you feel like you're gonna fall over, then your feet are probably too close. So you can bring your feet a little further away, or maybe your knees a little higher up, and just see what feels the best, okay? Find a good neutral space to start. Then bring your arms to your knees and squeeze in with your legs while your arms push out. Then your arms are gonna win and bring you open into this stretch. You should feel your inner thigh stretch. Right here. And then you come up for strength. And keep squeezing with your legs while you open up for this stretch, okay? Up for strength and down for stretch. See if you can find that stretch in your inner thighs, okay? Up for strength, down for stretch. Isolate this muscle. If you push too hard, you're going to feel some stuff in the outside of your hips, okay? So lighten it up. It should feel almost a little shaky. See if you can find that shake. And then just go back and forth. Up for strength and down for stretch. That's it. You've got it. If you isolate it, you should be fine. Now again, if this doesn't feel good, you just skip it. Not a big deal. Not a big deal, right? Now, we want to think about how we can stretch our inner thighs here, right, in external rotation. So we want to think about how many different possibilities we have, right? This is kind of cool. We have so many possibilities. We started with a standing folding bend, right? We can do this on the ground by just trying to kick your heels into the floor and leaning forward to let your heels come forward and straighten out. So you can come forward into the stretch just like this. That's a possibility, right? See what you feel in that stretch. What's happening? I feel my glutes wanting to jump in a little bit. I'm using my arms here for a little resistance to keep my legs externally rotated and opening up. You can try that, right? You have so many possibilities. If this is tough for you, you can do this laying on your back. Grab your big toes, kick down for strength, and pull up for your stretch, keeping resistance the entire time. Keep your knees pointed out so you get external rotation, right? This is kind of like happy baby if you're a yoga person, but you're keeping your back really solid. You're trying to keep your heels down towards your body and then stretching open. Now, if you want to stretch your fascia in this one, it's kind of fun. You get to a point where you feel safe in your stretch, you feel like you're in a good place, and then you try to push your feet up towards the ceiling without lifting your back. You'll get a deeper stretch, a different stretch. It'll feel like more surface level. That's fascia. That's different than muscle. It's a different type of stretch. And then if you kick down, you get into the belly of the muscle, into the real meat of it, and you can stretch the actual muscle. But muscles and fascia stretch a little differently. So here we'll stretch the muscle. Maybe at the end we can stretch the fascia. By pressing our heels up. That's the place where you would almost straighten your legs out. But since it's resistance stretching, we want to make sure that the muscle's engaged the whole time. And as soon as you get to a place where your knees are locked, then you're not resisting anymore. So then you're losing the resistance of that stretch. Does that make sense? So don't ever get to a point where you're straightening your legs out all the way. It defeats the purpose. It totally defeats the purpose. All right. Oh boy, my computer's not plugged in. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. That might actually help our stream health too. I hope so. Seems a little slow today, so I really apologize for that. All right, now we're going to work a little bit through our rotator cuff because we're going to need to get into this kind of twist, right? So let's start out with the back of our shoulders. Bring your hands together and your thumbs right over your head. And then try to squeeze your elbows like you're popping a balloon between your arms. And then as you open up, it's like the balloon is blowing up, but you don't want it to. And then you just go back and forth. So you close it for your stretch, and you open up for strength. That's it. You should feel the back of your shoulders. Hopefully it feels pretty good. See if you can isolate those muscles. If you feel anything different, like if you're feeling something here in your chest, then you can pause. We'll revisit this stretch later, okay? So you can just let this stretch go. Maybe go get a glass of water or something. Join us for the next stretch. If it feels good, go for it. If you feel good up to a certain point, don't worry about it. Just go as far as you can go. Like this kind of range of motion is totally fine. You don't have to close your elbows all the way. And if you find that your elbows are way down here, then you're cheating. So knock it off. Keep your hands right over your head. And as soon as your hands start to drop, that's when you open back up. Okay? Open and close. To the back of your shoulders. Awesome. Now let's stretch out our chest and our calves at the same time. So we're going to do downward dog stretch. A little different than how you would do it in yoga class. You put your hands on the floor right under your shoulders, and you're going to come up to a place where your legs are straight, but your heels are up. Like I don't have my heels on the floor yet, I'm actually up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock my hips, and see how they're kind of like in a 90-degree angle? I'm going to lock them there, and I'm going to move from my ankles. I'm going to push up on my toes. That brings my body forward over my hands, and then I'm going to push with my hands to bring my heels down to the floor. And I'm going to try to look at my knees and get a stretch through my chest. Then up for strength. My hips are locked, so I'm not actually coming forward. I'm not bending at my hips. I mean, they're bent, but they're locked in place. I'm not moving my hips. And you just go back and forth. Forward for strength and back for your stretch, bringing your heels to the floor. Now we want to find some external rotation. So let your feet go out like a duck, and we're going to stretch out that place. So up on your toes, but your toes pointing out, and then your arms will push you back down. And then if you want to stretch your internal rotation, bring your toes in like a pigeon, forward for strength, and use your arms to push your heels down towards the floor. But this is a little bit of a different stretch, right? You can bring your head through, whatever feels good. Forward for strength, and then back for stretch. All right. Whew. It's hot in here. Yesterday I was freezing. Yesterday I was wearing Sherpa socks. Today I'm like, oh, it's so hot in here. I think the boiler caught up to us. The weather's been nuts this week. Okay, So bring your right arm up so that your hand's just hanging behind your neck a little bit, and then grab your elbow with your left hand. You're going to resist like you're trying to pull both arms apart. This is going to activate your lats on the side. From here, use your left arm to pull you towards your left knee. You can sit however you want. I'm sitting cross-legged because it feels good to me today. But you could also sit with one leg out if that feels good. You could sit on your knees like this. You can also do this stretch just sitting in a chair. That's actually pretty effective too. You just want to keep your hips pretty set. Like you want both hips to be grounded, either on the floor or on your chair or on your heels, whatever feels good. But you don't actually want, like this stretch wouldn't be effective if you were up on your knees like this, because then your hips aren't in the right place to get the stretch. You need your hips to stay stable. That will really isolate from here down. And you want to find that stretch through your lats. If you feel anything different, try a smaller range of motion. Try opening your arms a little bit more, or maybe just skip it. Could be that this stretch isn't your stretch today, and that's all right. It's not the thing that's going to unlock the rest if it doesn't feel good. Okay, we want to find the thing that's going to unlock everything. Stretching is really funny, you guys. Resistance stretching is amazing, and this is the thing that most people don't understand, is that these stretches are just like the combination on a combination lock. And if you are stuck, you're trying to make a breakthrough, you're trying to unlock something, right? There's a key that you need to put into the code, right? You need to know all the numbers. And every number needs to fit just right. And if you're doing a stretch that doesn't feel good, it's the equivalent of having the wrong number in the lock. So you need to change the number, okay? And that means that you have to go through and clean up some other stuff and change the number, right? And so if you continue doing a stretch that doesn't feel good, it's like trying to open a lock that has the wrong number on it. It's stuck. It doesn't matter how hard you pull. It doesn't matter how many times you do it. The lock isn't going to open until you get the number in the right place, right? So what we basically need to do is get a stretch that's not feeling good to unlock. And that happens by putting the different combination in. It might be a completely different stretch that's holding you back. But it's not the one that hurts. That's a really hard thing for people to understand, but trust me. And if you don't believe me, try some of the problem-solving videos. I'm not kidding, they're really cool. It's really, really good stuff. So up for strength and pull across for your stretch. I switched arms, in case you didn't notice. This is my left arm here, and I'm grabbing with my right hand, and I'm pulling towards my right knee. So up for strength, and down for stretch. Make sure you can isolate this muscle. You want to feel it from here down in your lats, right? If you don't feel that, it just means that there's something else that needs to be unlocked, right? Just find the stretch. If it feels good, stick with it. If it doesn't, then don't do it. Or do a smaller range of motion where you do feel good, so maybe just bend it a little bit. Maybe finding different possibilities, like if you pull straight over to the right without twisting, it might feel different. If you come straight down towards the floor, it might feel different. That range of motion is usually better. But remember, it doesn't have anything to do with how far you go. It has to do with how much tension you pull out. So if you feel like you can go this way, like it's easy, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can get my elbow to the floor, that's amazing. That's okay, but if there's no tension being pulled out, then who cares, right? It doesn't matter. So if you have tension in the muscle this way, but you don't go very far, then it would be good for you to go to that point, as long as it feels good. It still feels good for me to go this way. And then you find the angle that works the best for you. So many possibilities. All right. Okay, let's work on the top of our shoulders. Bring your right arm into the side, grab your wrist with your left hand, sit however you want, and push up for strength. And then use your left arm to push you back down. This is a stretch for your deltoid. It's the top of your shoulder right here. So you push up for strength and down for stretch. And just find that stretch right in the top of your shoulder, okay? Once you feel that muscle kind of starting to burn a little bit, it's right here. It's kind of like a shoulder. It's like having what are those things from the 80s? Shoulder pads. It's like having shoulder pads, right? So you want to feel the sensation of stretch in your shoulder pad. And then once you've got that, you can add your neck stretch in. So as you come down to the bottom here, you feel that stretch in your deltoid, then take your left ear and just bring it to your left shoulder. It's straight over to the side. There's no twist. It's just your left ear to your left side. Then reset your head and start over. Come up for strength, find that deltoid stretch. And if this feels good, then you can bring your left ear over to your shoulder and find that stretch. Maybe a little, even like a yes nod at the end. Say yes gently. See if you can find that stretch. It'll feel productive. It'll feel good for you, okay? If it doesn't, let it go. Switch sides, okay? Especially if you feel any pinch on your left side when you bring your head over, it just means you have to do the left side first. So you can do that. All right, now let's switch sides. So bring your left arm over, grab your wrist with your right hand, resist like you're pushing both arms apart, and push straight out to the wall. You want your left arm to be parallel to the wall beside you, okay? Then use your right arm to push you down. And let's just work this up and down without tilting our head at first to see if we can find the deltoid stretch and really isolate that deltoid muscle. So feel for that shoulder pad. It should start to burn at a certain point, in a good way, hopefully. It's a stretch. The stretch happens on the way down here. Strength happens on the way up. So when you start to feel a little tired in that muscle, a little bit of a burn in your shoulder pad muscle right here, then you can add your neck stretch. So get down to the bottom, take your right ear and pull it towards your right shoulder and see if you can find that stretch. If you want to nod your head a little bit, that might feel good. Just do what feels good to you. Reset your head, come up for strength, and down for stretch. And then you can bring your right ear to your right shoulder. It's nice, huh? Up and down. Up for strength, down for stretch. Isolate the deltoid first. And then when you bring your ear to your shoulder, we're just adding in a possibility. Isolate the neck muscles on your left side. Up for strength and down for stretch. If this doesn't feel good, again, just skip it. I'm not kidding you guys. It's not doing you any good if it doesn't feel good. Now, if this is your first time stretching with me, that might be also another little bit of a paradigm shift. When people first start doing resistance stretching like this, they have a lot of muscles that don't work. I would say probably only 20% of your body, especially if you're having some problems, probably only 20% of these stretches are going to feel really good to you. The rest of them will feel bad. As you do these more and more, like I would recommend probably doing this 3 days a week or even more. I have 3 days a week, 9 a.m. classes, and 3 days a week, 11 a.m. classes spaced out like every other day. So pick one of those times, show up every day, every time, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, to do these stretches. You're going to notice that 80-20 changes so that eventually it's only 20% of your body that's not working properly and 80% of the stretches feel great. Then it'll change completely. It could be that your whole body just feels good when you stretch, okay? But we all usually have one nemesis muscle that always keeps us a little on our toes, right? So you may never get to the point where you're not problem solving because everyday life gets in the way. But I'll tell you guys, the dream is to have your whole body functioning properly, that every muscle can isolate in the right way and that you can really work through these and have your body working very efficiently. That's amazing. And when that's true, then the things you can do in life, you guys, I'm not kidding, life completely changes, okay? So bring your hands over your head again. We're going to go back into our rotator cuff stretch, opening up for strength and closing for stretch. This you should feel in the back of your shoulders. You may notice that you have a little more range of motion now, or it feels a little bit more comfortable. You might be able to isolate the muscles a little bit easier. Like I can feel a little bit more through my shoulder blades now than I did before. The reason why that works is because we got all the numbers right? We just adjusted all the numbers, and now we can open the lock. That means that you can do this stretch if you couldn't do it before. You might get a little further, you might feel a little better, you might feel stronger, you might not feel so tired. Right? There's a lot here. There is a lot here. Oh boy, that's good. Okay, now we're going to go into a stretch for our hip flexors and just keep moving through our legs. See if we can unlock some other things, all right? So bring your right leg to the front, your left leg behind, and you're going to try to scissor your legs together. Your front leg's kicking back. Your back leg is trying to kick forward like this, okay? So the front and the back leg are both scissoring in. It's like you're trying to keep yourself from doing the splits. If you remember when we were in the quads, it was like you were trying to go into the splits. This one, you're trying to get out of the splits, okay? So use your front leg by kicking back this way to pull you forward. Your back leg fights, and you want to find kind of a upward motion with your chest. And then use your back leg to pull you back. And we're just going to move back and forth like this. So this is another isolated muscle. We want to find this. It's right in the front of your hip here. It's small. It should maybe be about the size of like a thick rubber band, like you would get on your broccoli. You know those rubber bands? It should feel about that thick. There was one of them sitting around as a cat. She plays with all that stuff. Suri's sleeping under the computer right now. If you guys could see her, she's super cute. She comes out and plays usually during the 11 a.m. class. Use your front leg to pull you forward, and your back leg pulls you back. And you just go back and forth. Find that stretch, isolate it in the front. And then let's look into what other possibilities we have here. So if you want to get deeper into the stretch, you can twist. So maybe open up towards your back leg. Like look and see if you can see your foot in the back. And then pull yourself back. You could do that. You could also bring your arms up over your head. That might feel good. And find that stretch, right? You could try doing like warrior type arms and opening up that way. That might feel good. A little bit of twist. Actually, that's not a bad idea since we're doing this revolved wide leg bend. See if you can find that twist with your arms open. You could see what it would feel like to twist the other way. Probably won't be as much, right? See what works. Try your arms over your head. There's so many possibilities. You have so many choices. And the cool thing is that you have the ability to search and find the tension and get it out in the way that works the best for you, okay? Because you're at your house by yourself. And nobody's judging you. Nobody, right? So your left leg is in the front now, or whatever the opposite leg was. You're going to try to kick it back. The back leg is going to try to kick forward, so there's a little bit of a push there from your hip flexor. And then use your left leg to pull you into the stretch. And use your back leg, this is my right leg, to pull back. So you just go back and forth. Both legs are trying to pull in towards the center of your mat. And as you do that, one leg wins, then the other leg wins. You could think of it almost as like if you're playing tug of war, and one side pulls and wins, then the other side gets their strength a little bit more and they pull and win. But there's tension between the two all the time. You never really let go on either end, because if you were playing tug of war with somebody and the one team just let go of the rope, the other team falls, right? They just all fall in the mud. So you want to make sure that there's a constant push and pull the whole time. Then explore your possibilities. Okay, what can you do? Where can you go? How can you change the stretch? Can you twist? Can you look over to the right to find your back foot? Can you raise your arms over your head? Do you want to twist? Do you want to turn? Do you want to find a way that feels good to you? Would it feel better for you to put something under your knee? Right? Could you find a different way to do this? What are the possibilities? You open your arms up wide and see how that twist feels. It's up to you. You're in charge. It's your body. See what feels the best to you. Some people like to run with their arms like they're chariots of fire in slow motion. Right? Backwards. Back it up. Forward. And back. You could do robot arms. The world is your oyster, you guys. You can do what you want. You do what you want. All right, the next stretch we're going to go into is for your hamstrings. So we did medial hamstring here. That was our big focus. We did lateral hamstring here where we internally rotated. This one's going to go straight up and down. So there's no rotation. Your knee is just going to come in right to your shoulder, just like mine is here. Your knee comes in, pointing right towards your same side shoulder, okay? So you're going to lay on your back, grab the ball of your foot with both hands, or you could also use a strap. It's up to you. Kick your heel down to engage the hamstring and pull up for your stretch. When you pull up, you're going to feel the stretch in the back of your muscle here. You want to find that muscle, isolate it. Make sure that that's the only thing that's working for you. Put your awareness on it. See if you can break it out. It's funny, this card, it's called isolation. He's this man, he's trapped in ice and he's crying, but his tears are breaking through the ice, and he's breaking out of his isolation, which is kind of funny. But if you think about this, like you are making a breakthrough in your body, and the way that you make this breakthrough is by putting your awareness right on the thing that you're working on, right there, right on the thing that you need to focus on, and it's your hamstring right now. But in real life, in your emotional world, this guy, he's crying, and his tears are the thing that breaks through the ice, right? So by allowing himself to put his focus on the thing that he's working on, he can make the breakthrough. So kick down for strength, we'll do the other side, and pull up for stretch. Now it's my left leg, kicking down for strength, and pulling up for stretch. So if there's something that you're working through, maybe you're angry or you're sad or you're frustrated, if you put your awareness on that emotion, that's when the ice starts to melt. That's when you really break through. So you put your awareness on the thing, put the awareness on the feeling. So kicking down here, you can put your awareness on the feeling of the muscle. And when you feel that, then you start to make the breakthrough. You can also take it a step further and say, well, what emotion am I feeling right now? Do you feel a little angry? Do you feel a little frustrated? And it doesn't have to be like what emotion you're feeling like right now this week. It could be what emotion are you feeling right now doing this stretch at this very moment in time. If you put your awareness on that emotion, then it starts to melt the ice and some breakthrough can happen. Pretty cool. Awesome, awesome, my friends. All right, the next stretch we're going to go into is for your glutes. These are your butt muscles, okay? So we're going to do a little bit of glute work to see if we can really get them strengthened up. This is going to be really important for our rotation. So what I want you to do is come onto all fours. And then you're going to take one like straight behind you. And without rotating your hips, like you're not going to go into like curving your spine, keep your spine really straight and still. Just raise your heel up and down, probably about 20 or 30 times until you really feel your glutes start to burn. It's very gentle. It's a very small movement. My spine isn't arching. I'm not like trying to throw my body up. I'm just in very small range of motion, just moving the foot in my hip joint. And then from here, bend your knee. Your sole of your foot should be facing the ceiling, and then pretend like you have a stamp on your heel, and just try to kick your heel up towards the ceiling. Again, about 20 or 30 of them, or until you really feel tired. You'll feel that glute really activating. Try to keep your spine still so that you're not really moving your pelvis, you're just moving your leg. Get that glute active. When it really starts to burn, it'll burn a lot, then let it down. The glute. Now let's go straight out with our other leg. And again, you're just gonna kind of pump it up and down, keeping your spine and your hips stable, but just moving the femur bone within the hip joint. Find that strength, find that burn. Again, about 20 or 30, or until you feel really tired. They move pretty fast. Then bend your hip, bend your knee and press your heel up towards the ceiling. This one sometimes takes a little bit of thought process. It's like you're trying to press a stamp onto the ceiling with your heel. You might need to move in small segments, like maybe do a few at a time. If I think too hard, my leg tries to do something different. I'm noticing. Kind of funny. And when you really start to feel that burn after like 20 or 30, then we're going to stretch our glutes, okay? So go ahead and lay on your back. We're going to do a figure 4 glute stretch. You'll bring your right leg on top of your left leg and let your knee open up to the side. Then grab your left leg with both hands and resist by pushing your right leg into your left leg and pulling in with your arms at the same time. So my arms are pulling me in, my right leg is pushing me out. And you're just going to go back and forth, pushing out for strength and in for stretch. You should feel that glute stretching. It's so active. We spend the time to isolate the muscle first just by strength training. And sometimes that's really helpful to get the muscle really turned on. So out for strength and in for stretch. And you just go back and forth. Find that stretch through your glute. Keep that leg externally rotated. This is going to help with that forward fold that we're going to do later. See if you can isolate your glute muscles in this stretch. Shouldn't be hard. They're pretty warmed up. All right, let's switch sides. So bring your left leg on top of your right leg. Reach through and grab your right leg with both hands. Push open for strength and pull in for your stretch. And we're just going to go back and forth. Out for strength, in for stretch. See if you can isolate that muscle in the back of your glutes. Should be right here. If you don't feel it, if it feels uncomfortable, then it's just not part of the combination lock. So give it a break. You don't have to do this one. Maybe you skip it today. Maybe you come back to it on another day. Okay? You'll be totally fine. That's how it works. Out for strength and in for stretch. Maybe you move in a smaller range of motion if that's what your body needs. It's okay. It's all right to do that. Nice, guys. Good job. Good job. Okay, now we're going to go into our splits in the air. Now, we're going to do this in two different ways. One way internal rotation and one way with external rotation. I just want to show you what these two look like. You're going to be on your back for this stretch, but internal rotation looks like this with your toes together, and external rotation looks like this. Now I want to stretch these rotations. So I'm going to call this pizza, because if you look at your feet, it looks like a pizza wedge, right? Like a triangle. And if you go this way, French fries, just like the French fries go up. Okay? It's a skiing thing. Pizza and French fries, okay? Pizza, French fries. Pizza, French fries. You guys got it? Put that in your head. Memorize it. Pizza, French fries. Got it? Okay, so now lay on your back. We're going to start French fries, okay? Grab your knees on the inside. Squeeze your legs together and open up, keeping your toes pointing out the whole time. And then use your legs to squeeze together. Stay in your French fries. And open up. Now, pizza. Toes together. Squeeze in. Keep your feet in that wedge shape. You probably won't go as far. Make sure that you don't feel any pain when you're in this, okay? Just go as far as feels good to you. My right leg was like, but I can do it if I go this way. Don't cheat. Keep your toes pointing in. The body is a funny thing. It'll try to get you out of this. So you have to find this position, isolate the muscles that are working right now. They might be shaking a lot, that's okay. Now we're gonna stretch our rotations, okay? So let's start with French fries, toes out, squeeze in, and as you're opening up, I want you to turn to pizza. And then on the way in, turn to French fries. It's intense. And turn to pizza. And turn to French fries. Now let's swap it. So start on pizza and turn slowly to French fries. And turn to pizza. And open to French fries. Whew, I'm sweating. Who knew that would be so hard? Oh, so hard. Okay, oh geez, so much of knocking things over. All right. Okay guys, now I have a new one for you. If you've never done this one before, it's okay, you don't have to do it. It's a little more intense, it's a little more advanced, but I love this stretch. We call it the turtle stretch. You might want your towel. You're gonna take one leg out to the side. Make your towel like a long strap. You could put both legs out to the side if you want. Bend your knee. Let's take your right leg here, okay? You're gonna take your right arm, turn your thumb down, and thread the needle through. Now from this side, my elbow here is bent around my hamstring, okay? So if you need to bend this leg a little bit more to reach, that's okay. But you need to have your arm kind of like hooked under your leg, okay? So it's like hooked under there. Then you're gonna take your left arm and reach over and bind your hands if you can. Let me show you what this looks like from the side and the back. I reach through, my palms up, and I grab like this, okay? So I'm just grabbing here with that bind. If you cannot reach, this is where, having the towel would be helpful because then you can get a bigger range, okay? So just do what feels good to you. Now from here, what you're gonna do, grabbing your arms here, just very slowly, let this leg slide out and then back in. This should feel good to you, and if it doesn't feel good, you don't do it. But just go as far as you want, okay? If you feel any pressure or pain in your elbow, you're going too far. You should feel the back of your shoulder and maybe in your hamstrings, okay? It's a little bit of a twist. And if you really are like, no thanks, Carrie, I don't want to do this, then just bring your legs like this and practice bending and straightening, okay? But if you like this bind, let's go for it, okay? So now take your left arm, scoop your arm under your left leg, bend your elbow a little so that it hooks onto your hamstring, and then bind behind. So you're just gonna grab your hand behind, a little tighter on this side than I was on the other. So you're gonna grab and bind, and then very carefully try to straighten that leg out. If it doesn't feel good, then don't do it. Or move in a smaller range, or hold the rope, hold your towel instead of your hand. Do what feels good to you. Oh, that's a nice one. Now for the next stage, if this feels good to you, you can wrap the towel kind of around your lower back, and you can try both sides, but you're gonna have to find that rope. I don't even know if I can get it. There we go. And then it's the same thing. You're just gonna bend your feet, pushing your elbows into your legs, and try to straighten your legs out. Do not take yourself past where you feel comfortable. It might help with sliding if you put towels under your feet, that would be okay. Or you could, if you have carpet, you can use furniture sliders. You know those things you put under your furniture so you can slide them all around? Those are nice too, especially on carpet because you can really slide easily on them. All right, now I don't know about you guys, but I need some stretch for my chest now to open up because I'm really feeling open this way, but this needs open, I can feel it. So let's go up against the wall and we're gonna do a push-up. So, put your hands up against the wall in a wide push-up position. And then very slowly, let your head drop towards the wall, let your body drop towards the wall, and see if you can stretch out your chest there. And then push back up. Oh, hey guys. Apparently it's Tuesday at 10. The first Tuesday at 10 in May, the tornado sirens just went off. It's officially spring. It's officially tornado season. Okay. And officially, we're almost done with class. But first, I want to do our forward fold one more time. So find your wide leg position with your feet out. I notice that I can have my hips up now. Like I don't feel that same like I can't straighten out. I can totally straighten out now. That's lovely. And then find as far apart as you want to be, but you should feel in control the whole time. So you're not going to slide. You can stop yourself at any time. Then drop one hand down to the floor, bend at your knees. If you can't reach, that's okay, just stay there. Or practice moving up and down into that position so that you know you're safe, you know you can stop yourself. But do not let yourself just fall onto the floor if you're not okay with being there. You should be able to, from this position, pull yourself back up. That's key in Ki-Hara, to make sure that your body knows you're safe the whole time. If you can get into that position, bring your other hand down too. And now from here, you're gonna open into that twist as far as your body will let you go. And then back down. And try again. And back down. Squeeze your legs together and try again. And one more. Nice. And let's switch to the other side. Again, this side might be different, right? So start up. Take your opposite hand, the other one that you didn't do, and come down to the ground. Make sure that you can get there without feeling like you're gonna fall. Okay, so just go back and forth in a way that feels good to you. Keep your legs active the whole time. From here, you're gonna bring the other arm up and down. And just go back and forth, finding that twist and getting out of it. Knowing that you're safe the whole time. So the motion here, the resistance, is to try to sweep my arm away, and that gives me the twist. So by pushing my right arm to the right, like it's trying to sweep out, that'll give you the resistance. Step your feet in. Shake it out. All right, my friends. That's it for today. That was a fun class. I liked it. Good work. I feel better. Remember, if you guys want to support me, if you got value out of this class, these are the ways you can do it. Subscribe, give me some money, share, give me a thumbs up, or, say hi, write a comment, tell me how much you love this stretch, okay? All right, my friends, I will see you at the next class. Remember, 9 a.m. class is Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. 11 a.m. class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. All right, hope to see you guys soon. Bye-bye.